Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Brian Berry. Mr. Brian Berry currently serves as the Vice Chancellor for Student Services at the University of Arkansas Hope-Texarkana. Mr. Berry has previously served as Executive Vice Chancellor for Student Services and Administration here at UAHT, Vice Chancellor for Enrollment Management and Student Services at the University of Arkansas Community College at Batesville, Dean of Students at Southern Arkansas University, Director of Enrollment Management at ASU-BB, Counselor, Coordinator of Academic Advising at ASU-BB, Branch Manager and Loan Officer of Regions Bank, Director of Student Life, Counselor and Counselor Coordinator of Resident Life and Student Activities both at ASU-BB, and Assistant Director of Resident Life at Arkansas Tech University. Mr. Berry holds a Master of Education and Higher Education Leadership from Loyola University of Chicago and a Bachelor of Science in Business Economics and Finance from Arkansas Tech University. Please join me in welcoming our next candidate, Mr. Brian Berry.
All right, thank you, Chancellor Clark, for that warm introduction. Good to see everyone in the audience as well as those of you participating online. Certainly my pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you taking time to visit with me today. Since this is a community presentation, I know many of you that I recognize in the audience, but for those of you who don't, those of you who are joining us online, I'll share a little bit about myself. So they say you should lead with your strengths, so let me start with my family. So my wife, Mary, teaches at Southwest Arkansas Educational Cooperative right here on our campus where she is a reading specialist. I have an 8th grader, Carter, who's a student in Hope Public Schools at HAPS. And our oldest son, Quentin, lives in Fayetteville. He's a University of Arkansas Fayetteville graduate. He graduated high school before we moved to Hope, but he does have credit from U of A Community College on his transcript and is proud of that as well. We're dog people, so some of you may recognize Lucy, who's famous, or maybe more accurately infamous in the Strong Edition, here for her aggressive friendliness throughout the neighborhood. So let me be clear, at our house I rank 4th in the pack on normal days. When my oldest son's here visiting, I'm 5th, so have lots of experience in being humbled regularly in my own household. A little bit more about myself, my story. I grew up in Shirley, Arkansas, which is a tiny town, about 350 folks, about 60 miles due north of Conway. So I grew up there, graduated from high school there as well. I am a first-generation college student. I have 2 younger sisters. I was the first to attend and graduate college, and so neither of my parents had the opportunity to go to college. But they had certainly instilled the importance in us, and I'm proud to say that in addition to me being a graduate, my sisters are a school teacher and a pharmacist as well. So we're a testament to the value and the return on your investment of education. So this photo, I'm a Shirley Blue Devil, but that's me on the far right. As you look at that photo, rocking the bell bottoms and the Chuck Taylor knockoffs. You didn't get name brand shoes at my house unless you paid for them yourself. So that's a rule I hadn't been able to instill with my own boys, but we're working on that. I shared with the Hempstead Hall crew before I came out to make sure and get my good side on camera, but they recommended I consider presenting from behind the curtain. So I think clearly their money's on one of the other candidates based on those comments. No, I'm just kidding. They were wonderful to work with. So I've spent 30 of the last 31 of my years on the planet at a college or university setting. So including my time as an undergraduate at Arkansas Tech University, and throughout my career working as a graduate assistant at Loyola, and then advancing to my time here at UA Hope-Texarkana. So I've had the opportunity to get a wealth of experience in different types of institution, both 4 and 2 year, public and private, community college that was residential, and of course my last 2 settings where I spent the last 14 years at here in Batesville before then, we're at rural serving commuter community colleges. So I've had ample opportunity to see how things are done at different campuses and different systems in different settings, and I think that wealth of experience has been very valuable to me as I've moved through higher ed and throughout my career. I want to share some of my values before we talk about innovation. So transparency is the first one that I want to visit with you all about. I think transparency is important. It builds trust with those you work with. I think people make better decisions if they're fully informed and understand the full picture. Collaboration, both our shared governance system on our campuses, as well as collaboration with our partners in the community and the workforce. Listening and understanding. Cal Coolidge said that no man ever listens himself out of a job. I'm a big believer in that. I want to make sure I understand the problems and issues that our faculty, staff, students, and community members come to me with, and so that I can make a good informed decision and decide how we need to move forward as a team. Vision. We have to know where we're going if we want to get there. One of my first priorities as chancellor is to move through a strategic planning process where we engage both our campuses as well as our community partners, and make sure that we have a sound strategic plan that sets us forward on a path to success in the coming years. Service. We are a community college, and the community is important. My expectation is our faculty and staff are involved in the community, whether that's through civic clubs and organizations, their churches, the public schools that their kids are at, but it's important that we are visible and active in our communities. I try to model that behavior, serving as an officer in the Kiwanis Club here in Hope, as well as serving on the Southwest Arkansas Arts Association. And finally, fun. I think it's important that we celebrate our successes. COVID's been a rough over the last year. I'm looking forward to things being hopefully back to normal by the fall semester. But it's important to me that people enjoy their jobs and that our students can see that when they're in their classrooms and visit their offices, that this is a place, that UA Hope-Texarkana is a place that they're happy to be at and happy to be serving our students and our greater community. One of my favorite quotes about the importance of service. So my priorities and how do we make this great institution that's UA Hope-Texarkana even better? So I have 4 priorities that I would concentrate on as chancellor. First of those is ensuring student access and success. Secondly, investing in our human capital. Engaging in partnerships and promote collaboration to solve challenges. And finally, practicing fiscal responsibility. As I talk about those and how we might use innovation to meet those priorities, I'll share that slide has some photos of some of the innovations we've engaged in on our campus in the last few years since I've been here. How do we ensure student access and success? One, by ensuring that UAHT remains a great value. We have one of the most affordable tuition rates in the state and in the region. I'm committed to make sure that continues to be the case. Fostering a welcoming and inclusive campus that all our students, our faculty and staff feel welcome and included in. I think it's an opportunity to fully and better integrate our adult ed and community ed programs and making them on-ramps to credit programs on our campus. And also that's a great way to ensure that we're reaching underrepresented students and getting them enrolled. And ensure that our academic and student support services are in place and utilized. We have some great stories of success on our campus. Students who entered as ESL, English as Second Language students, who graduated with us, went to UA Fayetteville, earned engineering degrees, and now are gainfully employed as engineers. RNs that begin in basic literacy skills and GED or remedial courses on our campus and go on to successfully complete our practical nursing and RN programs. And that's key to serving our mission. How do we do this? Through innovation. We have a generational opportunity on our campus with our COVID relief funds that are designated to providing opportunities for us to expand our online capabilities and our student support through technology. We'll begin this fall with the implementation of Workday, our ERP. that'll be truly transformational. We'll have the opportunity to use data analytics through Workday and other software that allow us to identify students who have deficiencies in academics and are at risk before the semester begins, so we can target our student support services at those students to help them be successful. The opportunity to use AI, artificial intelligence, to have bots that answer general questions, that automate processes in financial aid and admissions, that allow us to have more time to use hands-on, to be hands-on with those students who need that high touch. That's always a delicate balance, making sure that we find the right balance between our academically and economically fragile students that we serve, and balancing the high-tech and high-touch needs of those students, so that we have students who are completely capable and comfortable self-servicing, and we're going to have the resources in place to make that happen, while freeing up the time that allow our student support services staff to address those students' needs and spend all the time necessary so that they can be effective with those students. We're currently investigating software opportunities that allow us to have virtual offices, so if a student needs to visit with an academic advisor, a financial aid or admissions officer, they can go to our website, knock on the door virtually. That advisor can pop in, visit with those students, live time, instant message, send them text messages that's all FERPA compliant and recorded, so that if somebody else needs to pick up that conversation later, they can do so without missing a beat and providing that service to our students. The opportunity to move to a case management model so that our students have wraparound services, so that we identify them early in the semester, have automated AI early alerts if they miss class or do poorly on an assignment, and that we can have a group of student services staff and advisors that are ready to reach out, get them to our tutoring services, mental health counseling. We've just implemented a mental health counseling teleservice to our students that now provides mental health counseling through a licensed professional counselor 24 hours, 7 days a week. So if a student has access to the internet, if they have a smartphone, it provides them an opportunity to get counseling and get an appointment within a few minutes. If a student doesn't have a place to have that counseling or access to the internet, they can approach our staff, find a private space and a computer to utilize those services. Innovating to provide educational technology that doesn't supplant our in-person services, but enhances them. Investing in our human capital. Our faculty and staff are our greatest resource on our campuses. We have to make sure that we pay a competitive salary. We've done a great job on this campus of budgeting conservatively and effectively. We need to move forward with a pay plan that makes sure we stay competitive and attracts the most talented faculty and staff available to our campus to keep us competitive. Innovate to pursue a merit program that allows our faculty and staff to share in our campus's success. So merit that's based on campus outcomes, graduation rates and retention rates that allows us all to share in the success of our students. It's important that we recruit a diverse workforce and work hard to develop pools of candidates that allow us to have a faculty and staff that represents the rich diversity in the communities we serve. It's important that when students go into our offices and our classrooms, that they see faculty and staff that look like them, have had similar experiences to them, staff and faculty that they're comfortable going with the issues that they're experiencing on our campus. Innovation in our partnerships and collaboration. It's important. My vision is that UA Hope-Texarkana is a driving force for economic and workforce development in the Arklatex. We need to make sure that we're present for all those discussions and at the table for any time economic development is discussed. I think we're poised to build a workforce that's ready to serve Southwest Arkansas and the rest of the Arklatex, both from a credit and non-credit perspective. We have an opportunity to expand our workforce training as well as our technical industrial academic programs. A great opportunity with our technology opportunities to move into simulation in all our programs, HVAC, welding, industrial maintenance, that allows students to have an opportunity to practice real world using simulation. You can see from the slide, we've already moved into automation with our A&P classes and have sim cadavers. Turns out sim cadavers can actually die as well. We've had some trouble getting those replaced right now. But making that available to all our students in our T&I program. So we have the opportunity to have those programs online with supplemental materials, as well as moving those programs online, and so that controllers can be programmed in HVAC and air handlers that can have problems that students have the opportunity to work on and solve. Another innovation is our solar program that will be off the ground by next fall. An incredible opportunity for us to provide a workforce for an industry that will soon be in Arkansas. People ask Wayne Gretzky how he anticipated where in hockey and how he was such a great player, and he said, "I simply skate to where the puck is going to be." This is a situation where we hopefully have skated to where the puck is going to be in terms of our industry. We know that renewables is the key to the future in providing energy, and this provides us an opportunity to build for a workforce that's ready, will be ready for those industries when they arrive in Arkansas, that's well trained and ready to provide those. We have an opportunity. We provide the Career Readiness Certificate on our campus already, which is a nationally recognized certificate that's transferable across the country. I hope that we would move forward with being an ACT workforce ready community in our counties in Southwest Arkansas and hopefully Northeast Texas. That's a huge thing when site selectors look at where they want to locate to see that there's a ready workforce, and the CRC Work Ready certification is a great way to do that. We have the opportunity to move forward with our T&I programs, those technical programs, that not only that students will graduate with hard skills, and so they have an academic transcript that they can show employers that they've developed those hard skills we teach, whether that be welding, HVAC, but also a co-curricular transcript, so that shows that we treat those jobs like they're entering the workforce. And so they wear a uniform, co-curricular transcripts that shows the percentage of time that they were on time for their classes, their overall attendance rate, as well as catalogs the soft skills that they develop. We know our students leave with the hard skills they need, but in talking with our partners that we have some soft skill gaps there that we can work on achieving, so that they know how to handle workplace conflicts. They know how to understand policies. So our students can leave with an academic transcript of their hard skills, a co-curricular transcript of their soft skills, as well as a career readiness certificate that's a nationally recognized certificate that they can take to ensure that when our industry partners view our campus, that they can see that we have a ready workforce to meet their needs. Making sure that we collaborate with our industry partners, our chambers of commerce, our economic development commissions, to help them drive our curriculum, to make sure that our programs that are established meet the needs of industry, while also working with them to develop new programs that are needed to serve the workforce. Leveraging training grants and other funds from the Office of Skills Development. So if an industry comes to us, we can go to the Office of Skills Development, pursue grants that give us the opportunity to provide that training at low or no cost to our industry partners. Delivery systems that allow us to be flexible so that we can meet the needs of our students and industry. Micro-credentials so that we know that a standard 16-week semester may not work for training for our industry partners. And so that we have drop-in, start, and end dates so that if they need short-term training, they're able to do that. But those programs that lead to credentials, both credit and non-credit, an opportunity to turn those non-credit into credit at later dates. And so we need to move to a perspective that education is expected to be lifelong learning. And so that even as our students graduate and enter the workforce, that we are partnered with use collaboration with our industry partners to make sure that they know they have the option of sending those students back if they need updates and training, and that we have a faculty of experts ready and willing to be able to provide that training to their staff at their businesses. Engaging in partnerships to close the gap for college readiness. We know that we're a community college open admissions institution, and that's part of our mission. we struggle with college readiness among our students. I think there's an opportunity to partner with our education partners. We have a great relationship with our high schools, but furthering that partnership, our high school faculty need training. The Southwest Arkansas Educational Cooperative is located on our campus, partnering with those entities to make sure we can provide that training, to offer workshops for our high school faculty so they can see what the expectation is the first couple of weeks of the semester in Comp 1, in college algebra, in our T&I classes, and so that we can work with them to bridge that gap, melding our curriculum with the curriculum required by state curriculum requirements, and so that those students can be better prepared and ready to be effective and successful students from day one. Continue to use and expand our college career coaches. We have those already in place at 3 of our high schools, but making sure our high schools are aware of that opportunity and providing that for them, where our employees are embedded at the high school and spend time making sure that those students have applied for admission, are workforce ready if that's their intent when they leave high school, have access to career readiness certificates, and helping them improve their test scores and so that they can skip remediation and be able to earn credit courses more quickly. And finally, practicing physical responsibility. In addition to my student services work, I had the opportunity to serve as Chief Financial Officer here for 2.5 years. I can attest that we budgeted conservatively and effectively and are in a spot that we're ready to grow, to be able to pay our faculty better, and ready to implement this technology and innovate some of the things that we've talked about today. I want to make sure that we budget that so it reflects our mission and our strategic plan, so that it's clear when you look at our budget that it's reflected where our strategic plan is and what our priorities are. Continue to make sure that we're affordable, that we offer great value to our students. Continue the innovation, like our book program that allowed us to save $3 million more dollars to our students since that program started 5 years ago. Innovation like that is paradigm shifting and game changing, that allows us to make sure every one of our students has their books on day one while saving them a huge amount of money that gets put back in our local economies. A plan to address our deferred maintenance issue. We've made significant strides there, but we have budgeted in a way that we can consistently and adequately make sure we maintain our campuses and address those issues moving forward while still being posed to fully implement the innovation that's going to be necessary for us to be successful. That's a brief overview of the innovation I think we need to undertake in the coming years, as well as some of my values, to give you just a brief opportunity to learn about me. I want to save most of our time to answer your questions, since I know you all have a lot, and I think that's where we can learn the most about our plans and what you value. So I'll throw it open for questions.
You hear me now?
Mr. Berry?
Yes.
We talked a little bit earlier in our meeting about the expansion of the Texarkana campus. Have you ever participated in a millage or tax campaign for a city or county to support education? And if so, can you tell us a little bit about your involvement in that? And if not, tell us about your plan to gain that to support our campus on Texarkana.
So no, I have not participated in a millage or sales tax campaign for a college campus. In Batesville, there was a large campaign for community improvements in terms of providing a community center and athletic expansion, and so I had some experience with that effort, but not particularly in regard to a college campus. So what would be key, if that is the decision that the institution decides to move forward with seeking that support in Miller County, would be for us to show our value to the folks who live there and are going to be voting, so that they know if they choose to invest in us, that there's going to be a direct and measurable return on that investment, so that when they come to our campus, that they know and see our graduates and know that we prepare graduates that are either ready to transfer and be successful at the four-year institution or are ready to enter the workforce and be a productive citizen and contribute to the tax base of that community to make that investment worthwhile.
Much of what I hear you saying today has to do with career-oriented, jobs-oriented programs with the end result that our students get employment, which is terribly important these days. I just wonder, what is the future of two-year colleges in Arkansas as it relates to classical liberal arts education?
Yeah, that's a great question, and we did talk about this morning in my time with faculty, that transfer education is going to continue to be a key part of our mission at General Ed. I'm a proponent of the liberal arts, a product of the liberal arts, and so I certainly value that. I think we have an opportunity to expand some of those opportunities. I know you formerly directed a choir program here. I think our students are looking for engagement, and certainly our liberal arts and general ed requirements are not going anywhere and are going to continue to be a key part of our mission moving forward. There's not quite as much opportunity for innovation in those areas, although we have moved forward with some of that, certainly with our move on into providing online as well as supplemental online, and making those richer experiences for our students. But I'm certainly a proponent of the liberal arts, and they will continue to be a key part of our educational experience. Yes, we do. The Department of Higher Education track students and where they transfer. We've actually just started a new initiative ADH has that we're signing. All the institutions are signing data sharing agreements to allow us to work around FERPA, the Federal Education Privacy Act, to allow us to get more information in terms of how those students perform and to do more reverse transfer. So if a student leaves here without earning their associate's degree, say they have 45 hours and go on to UA Fayetteville or UCA, that we can automatically get those hours transferred back in order to graduate them and grant them their associate's degree. So that's an expanding tracking, but yes, we do get information on where students transfer into Arkansas. We don't get that information from out-of-state institutions, although we can use the National Student Clearinghouse to track some of that information. We do have a wonderful relationship and a transfer agreement with Texas A&M Texarkana, and they've been willing to share the numbers of students that transfer there from UA Hope-Texarkana, which, as you might imagine, is a big destination for our students who live in Texarkana. So we do track that. That's one of the metrics in the state performance funding formula, and so that's an important metric that those students transfer after they meet certain hour thresholds.
Mr. Berry, we have a question from the chat here from TJ Tubbs. He asks, what are some specific things you plan to address in the budgeting process that would reflect the college's strategic plan?
The budgeting process?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the first thing we need to do is revisit our strategic plan. And so I plan to start that process if I'm the successful candidate as soon as I become chancellor. So engaging our communities, engaging our faculty and staff and our partners in developing that strategic plan. So that would be step one to getting that strategic plan in place and deciding where our emphasis and priorities are going to be, and then making sure that strategic plan is accurately reflected in that budgeting process. And so our planning team, our cabinet would be tasked with making sure every budget request ties back to the initiatives in our strategic plan. As I mentioned, a priority would be investing in our human capital and providing professional development and addressing competitive pay with our faculty and staff. So that would certainly be the first thing that you would see in the budget. But we have some work to do in developing that strategic plan before it can be reflected in the budget.
You had mentioned in an earlier meeting about your planning team and how it would expand our current process. Could you go into a little bit more detail with this group and explain what you had in mind?
Yeah, sure. In visiting with our faculty and staff in cabinet earlier today, we discussed incorporating a planning team, which would be a campus-wide team charged with, once we have a strategic plan, making sure that that strategic plan is put into motion, making the final budget decisions, considering those budget requests, getting review and making the policy decisions and reviewing policy. So a planning committee that would consist of our cabinet, which are our vice chancellors and other key positions on campus, but also the faculty senate president. We've talked about the need to establish a staff senate, having the staff senate president, our student government association president, as well as allowing the different divisions, academic affairs, student services, finance and administration, the opportunity to appoint a member to that planning team so that we have a wider shared governance in making those important and final decisions as we move forward with implementing a strategic plan and the initiatives and innovations that we decide to undertake as a campus.
Historically, the City of Hope and its community has had a strong and cooperative relationship with the college here. And do you see any opportunities to either expand that partnership or any specifics about how that could be done in the future?
Sure. And you're right, we've had a great partnership that we've helped each other out when we had a need and sharing each other's resources, and the City of Hope's been a fantastic partner, certainly in the time I've been at UA Hope-Texarkana. So I think there's always more opportunity for partnership. I know there's been real initiative to reinvigorate downtown, and the city's made some great strides in doing that. You know, if there's an opportunity for us to have a presence there, it may not be a all the time presence, but certainly we have a campus full of experts that would be available to do workshops that might happen downtown. If the first, you know, the Thursday night events are started back again once we're post-COVID, I think there's a great opportunity for us to be present in downtown, an opportunity for us to get more visibility and to better integrate maybe with those folks that might not see us every day and may not come out for class or may not get the opportunity to see events here on campus, but they do regularly visit downtown so they can see the college and what we have to offer. But yeah, we would certainly, I would be as chancellor open to any partnerships that we could pursue to better strengthen that partnership with the City of Hope.
Hi, Mr. Berry. Today I've heard a lot about workforce and the importance of professional development and partnerships with the districts in professional development. But what are your thoughts on secondary programs for our high school students on our campus and concurrent credit moving forward if you were to get chancellor?
Yeah, we just talked about that in the meetings with the academic deans in cabinet, and that the area career centers are key. We struggle with college going rate in Southwest Arkansas, and I think the career centers are a great way to attract students who've been historically underrepresented, students who have an interest in training, who may be more hands-on and maybe aren't interested in a traditional classroom concurrent experience. And the Career Center offers that and offers them a path to employability at good wages. And so not only I think is that a key to getting, we need to get those students interested and make sure our high schools are on board with participating and making students aware of that opportunity and their parents aware of that opportunity. But it's also going to be very important to our enrollment growth to make sure that we bridge the gap so when those students are completing a CP or a TC through the Career Center, that we get them to come to campus and finish out another degree or finish that degree so that they can finish out a technical certificate or an associate degree if they've started that journey while they're still in high school. Incredibly important program and a huge asset to our high schools, and it's a program that students don't have to pay anything to get that tuition, college tuition. The school districts are reimbursed through the state, so it's an incredibly important program and one that has a high ceiling with an incredible opportunity for growth in the future.
Mr. Berry, we have another question from the chat. This is from Kiosha Gully. How would you describe the financial condition of our university?
It's like a State of the Union question, and I would say the State of the Union is good. We budgeted conservatively, did so under then Chancellor Thomason's leadership, have continued that since he's left. We're in good shape in that we have COVID relief funds that allow us to replace any lost revenue due to the enrollment declines from COVID related. And we've over the last several years been able to put away some reserves from not having budgeting wisely and not having to dip into our reserve funds and making sure that there was contingency available in each budget. So we're well poised to move forward with new initiatives. We, as you all know, on campus have just starting an energy savings project where we'll be generating a good portion of our energy on the Hope campus via solar energy. That's tied into an academic program that we're starting to support it. And so really sets up the campus for the next 30 years to have substantial savings. We're using that savings and the financing to address some deferred maintenance issue for HVAC upgrades that also affect and will result in energy savings. So it gives us an opportunity to address almost $1 million in deferred maintenance, build a new building, a solar lab, an academic program on the Hope campus, all with the final result being a decrease in the total indebtedness and debt service that we'll make annually compared to what we were paying last year when these projects are almost $7.9 million in projects are completed.
We have another question from TJ Tubbs. Since UAHT is represented in 2 cities and services multiple counties, could you describe your plan to engage various constituents and stakeholders?
Sure. So we have to be present in both our campus areas, and so it's important that we have our faculty and staff and the chancellor seen in both the Texarkana and Hope areas. Texarkana is still relatively new with that campus starting in 2012, and so there's still ample opportunity for us to grow that campus. We've talked today about one of the priorities we need is developing a better schedule for our students on that campus, and moving forward we'll do that. But important to get our faculty and staff out and make sure that they're involved in the greater Texarkana community, that we're part of their civic clubs and organizations, and that they see the chancellor and our other faculty and staff are highly involved and committed to that area. But we function really as one institution with 2 campuses, and so that our students have resources regardless of which campus they're on. And although we have space limitations on the Texarkana campus, moving forward to make sure those students at the Texarkana campus have an equal opportunity for student engagement and a campus life as well.
Can you hear me? Okay. Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to me this afternoon. Thank you and have a great afternoon.